Hey, y'all. Welcome to another Live Free and Ham podcast. Wanted to just let you know this episode is going to be a little different than most of our usual ones that are in the catalog. It's been a rough week, so we just kind of pressed the record button and let it fly. Hope you enjoy. Well, hello.
What took you so long?
495 traffic. What the hell is wrong with that highway? Like, I don't understand. Like, people.
Why do you go to?
It's fucking Massachusetts.
I had to go to Mass because my brother-in-law's son was playing over at New England Baseball Complex, a 16U tournament, and we wanted to go see him play. So, big family support. I mean, he used to come up all the time, watch Cody play. So, it's kind of one of those things that you do.
You felt obligated.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch because I didn't have a horse in this, in the chase, as they say. So it didn't matter. I could just kind of watch and enjoy and have fun. And they don't let you drink there, so I didn't get a really chance to drink. But thank God they don't, because some parents, man.
Yeah, I'd have been like, listen, just live stream it, and I'm gonna sit at home and drink.
That would be true, for sure. Let's go to this view. Here we go. There we go.
Well, my team sucks.
Oh,
they came today, and I had to be in full uniform because it's the freaking districts, which is stupid. And the one coach decided that he's going to just hang at the lake and not show up, but he had his grandfather drop his kid off.
I've had that happen. Yep.
So I was like, and they come up to, no one hit. Zach got a walk and stole the bases, and then got into a beef with the third baseman because the third baseman was blocking the base. And they overthrew second. So they didn't make the play to third. So it really wasn't interference. So the kid was talking shit to him. So Zach starts talking shit. I thought they're going to go at it. I'm like, listen, I go, just ignore him, just score, and you can stick it in his face. So Zach literally steals home on, it was like a grounder to the third baseman, and he goes for it. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And he got under the tag and he was safe. And he kind of goes and he points to him.
Yeah.
But I told him, I go, listen, he goes, next time I'm running him over. I'm like, no. I go, you just slide into the base, you take him out on his ankles, and that'll be the end of it. He'd probably be out of the game for the rest of the game. He's he's in the baseline. You're supposed to slide. He goes, that's a good idea, Dad.
Well,
I'm from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. You gotta. That's how we used to play.
Yeah, well, back in our day, we had actually metal spikes on, which we actually sharpened to a point. Now they check spikes.
They don't even check. They just ask, is everyone equipped properly? I was like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, sure.
Everything's great. We don't have illegal items here whatsoever.
I don't want kids. This kid was probably, I don't know, 5'8", 5'9", definitely hit puberty, big kid. He's 12 years old. Maybe he wasn't.
Yeah.
But he was in the way.
How was my audio? Speaking of, I didn't really actually check any levels. Am I okay?
It's a little low, but not bad.
I can fix that really quickly. Yeah. Flip the switch here. So, how was first introductions dealing with Dude?
Who's Dude?
It was good.
Did you fool around with just the layouts again?
Yeah, well, the chat should be down on the bottom.
Whatever, man.
And so it was like,
no one's in the chat.
I was hoping that I could just move the box and it would just auto fucking flip it, but it didn't want to do that. So
yeah, it's all manual kind of stuff. You have to click on it. How's the audio better now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. I'll leave it at that level then.
But yeah, no, he's a nice guy. I showed up. I was there right at 10. He was there. Must have been a few minutes before, because he already had his what's little dude, the fucking his mask holder thing.
Yeah.
Well, he broke it.
What? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
he broke it. So he was he was fucking around with like trying to get the mask to stay on like just the little stub. But yeah, no, it was cool. Interesting to see like how he's got a, the spool tenna fucking set up there. And
right. Hey, he's creative. I every once in a while, I think I subscribe to him, and every once in a while I fall off because YouTube likes to strip, subscribers randomly from, my feed, and I'm sure it does to everybody else.
Why do they do that?
I don't know. I can't quite figure it out, but like, I can literally like count the days where like all of a sudden I hit like 3 or 4, and then they just like I post a bunch of things contents wide, and people fall off, and then they come back again. So it's like whatever. I don't, silly, stupid, algorithm. But yeah, he just he's got some interesting like I like how he likes to iterate on stuff a little bit. Like he takes it a little bit in a different direction, or takes a commercial idea and kind of elaborates on them. I know he kind of gets a little crap from people from time to time, depending on his style and whatnot. But hey, to each their own, they say.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, you got a video on that one, or you just kind of go hang out with him?
It's going to be an interesting video.
Okay. As you just remembered that you were there to do some video, or like
well, so like yeah, I mean, I showed up and he was already setting up, so I just kind of like did a quick, oh, here's fucking him with his mast and the fucking antenna, and then like we just got to talking, and I was like, oh, well, you're not recording, right? Because we were talking like some personal stuff, and it's like,
right.
Yep, nope, not recording, nope, okay. And then he started calling CQ, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably turn the fucking camera on.
Nice. As a moving target.
Yeah. So I did the intro to the video after all the contacts were made.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
So then I'll just have to record a little outro and be like, and yeah.
Trust me, whatever. The same thing with Chris when I did the whole Marconi with Chris and his son and Jimmy. I forgot to do the intro. And so I recorded I recorded the ending with him. I recorded the video I sent to HR2O with Jimmy. And then they kind of were all leaving, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to record the intro. So I was just like, okay, this will seem a little backwards, but it'll all make sense when you stitch it back together, which is, they're like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense now. I'm like, fine. Now you know the magic behind the curtain. We all don't get it right.
What's the what are we talking about today?
I don't care.
Your mom.
Whatever. It's about to come around someday.
She's still stuck in bed.
I say she's still in rehab and everything.
No, she's out of rehab.
Oh,
but she's just the insurance stopped paying for it, and then I'm sorry, but I have no faith in humanity, because no one I work with has any competence, and hospitals and rehabs don't have any competence. So they sent her home, and for a week and a half, she had no one checking on her.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me go talk to the CEO of that fucking dirtbag place. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The place was a dump anyway. But then it was some social worker that didn't do their job. And again, I'm like, well, nothing will happen to him. They'll probably get a promotion and be the CEO in a couple of years.
It's not any better, even on the VA side. With my dad in rehabs, he was in rehabs for like 9 months, probably a little bit more than that. I think almost a year. And that was a freaking clusterfuck. I mean, I can't tell you.
I don't understand why people aren't held accountable. Like, that person should have been either written up or, doc pay or whatever. I mean, it's just crazy that they just don't do their job. And it happens at my work all the time. Like, people literally don't do their jobs and people die and nothing happens. They're like, oh, that's too bad. Well, we only had 10 people die this year. Last year we had 14. Good job. Woo!
Get a gold sticker.
Like,
you guys, give you a bonus.
I told the director, I said, I go, that's what the problem with you people are. Is I said, you shouldn't be happy or thinking it's an improvement that you only let 10 people die, because that's 24 people in 2 years, 24 kids you let die under your care. I said, when you get down to 0, then let's celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
You don't understand, Todd. Oh, I do.
You don't.
Baby killers.
Wow. Next on Live Free and Ham.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, I told him, I said, if I ever get fired, I said, I'm seriously going to start a YouTube channel about all the bullshit and shit that I know, like all the corruption. And I mean, we had a girl show up. She was ordered to go to a house to do a well check on an infant. Okay. Which means you have to go to the house and actually see the infant and make sure it's breathing, it's healthy, it's got food, whatever.
Clean diaper.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. Yeah. She goes in there, she shoots the shit with the parents and leaves. 2 days later, the cops go in there, they find the baby dead for a week, she was there when the kid was in the crib dead. Wow. And nothing happened to her. She shows up the next day at work like nothing happened. I was like, what the
dude, I don't know how you do your job.
Why do you? I go, how is that? And of course it was all secret. So when I was telling the director this, she looked like her eyes were like, how do you know about that? And I said, well, Marie, I said, everyone in our office knows about it. And the fact that you didn't do anything about it makes a lot of us have no respect on you, because that supervisor should have been fired, and so should have that worker.
But so, all right, let me ask a really stupid question, right? But why isn't there somebody under the Whistleblowers Act, like fucking just reporting all this shit? Like, why do we allow government run fucking programs to be shitty because nobody's willing to fucking step up?
Well, if you went to my office and you talk to anyone in juvenile justice, my reputation is I don't give a fuck, and I say whatever I want in public places to them. Like, I literally tell people, you kill kids, and they start crying. And I'm like, stop crying. You did it because you're incompetent. Todd, you can't say that. They told me I couldn't talk about that murder or that guy that killed his daughter that went missing. And they said, you can't talk about that. And I was like, then write me up. I said, I can talk about it. The whole freaking country's talking about it.
You're talking about the guy that had the girl in a fucking duffel bag at the ceiling?
Yeah. They told me not to talk about it. And I said, I'm fucking going to talk about it as much as I want. And I told them, I said, go ahead and fire me. I said, I got more documentation and shit of all your people. And I said, I would love you to fire me, because then I could actually retire and actually sue your ass for money. We just gave $10 million away to a kid that wasn't abused. $2 million. The kid in Merrimack, $2.2 million because DCYF didn't do their job.
But so, all right, if it's that bad, why do you have to wait till you get fired? Like, why not just fucking report them?
Well, the problem is it's all corrupt. Who do you report it to? I tried to report to HR something they did. One of the supervisors did to me. HR said, we're not dealing with this. Send it back to the administration. The administration says, well, we're not doing anything about it. So they said, call the ombudsman. So I call the ombudsman. The ombudsman says, we don't deal with state employers. Send an email to staffmatters.org. I'm like, what? And then I sent them an email and they said, would you like to file a complaint? Yes. And I haven't heard from them in like a week. So it's all connected. It's all corrupt. You go to the commissioner, you don't know who's the person. I mean, I've gone to state senators like Ted Gatzis, that guy, old mayor. Yep. I literally he gave me his personal phone number, and I tell him all this shit. Nothing happens. Nothing. Yeah. So who do you go to? I mean, he's on the executive council. Like, how much higher do I have to go? Yeah. Call the president, be like, dude, Donald, I got a problem over here.
That may not work either, but whatever.
I don't know. DJC might fix it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where. I don't know.
As long as he's got you in his back pocket, I guess. Oh man. Yeah, dude, corruption exists everywhere. Like, I used to work for JP Morgan, dude, and I had a guy who literally was pissed off because I took a job from him. Like, I moved up laterally in my department and took the job that he was applying to outside of another department, and he made it his vendetta for 8 years in the company to try to get me fired, like doing stupid stuff, putting fake claims in that I don't do this. I'm running illegal businesses out of my house.
That's where my dad and grandfather worked.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
My grandfather, he was a mail boy, like the mail kid when he was like 17 years old, and he used to read the paper on the train. And then when he delivered the mail, he would talk to like the bigwigs and tell them what he thought. And he never went to college, and he made it all the way up to like vice president.
Yeah, like that's a rarity in the JP Morgan world that I came from. Like, because everybody was like, what? Like, you could leave, like you could start there, get a current salary. 6 months later, decide you're going to quit because they weren't going to give you a pay raise. Come back 2 months later, and they give you the pay raise plus a level up in your basically title and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like utterly ridiculous.
So my dad worked for Price Waterhouse, and then he went to Manufacturers Hanover. Then it went to Chemical. Then it went to Chase, and now it's JP.
I was part of Chemical, Chase, and JP.
So he left. He's like, I'm not doing another merger. So he left.
Oh, it was horrible
when they went to Chase, JP Morgan Chase. But when he ended his career, he was the CFO of their securities.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like the guy, and he had 2 offices in Manhattan, like uptown and downtown. And he says it was so boring because, like, for, I don't know, 5 years or whatever, he like fixed everything that was wrong, and it was just running smoothly, and he'd sign off on the things. So he'd walk uptown and downtown, like, just for shits and giggles. And I'm like, why didn't you retire earlier? He goes, it's hard to retire when they end up paying you so much money to do nothing. He goes, it'd be stupid.
They were screwing me over left and right.
And then when he retired, they paid him 5 years' salary to retire.
Yeah. JP Morgan, when JP Morgan came on board, I literally had a pension with them, and it was literally 100% funded by them. But it was 100% funded in the stock. And so before the stupid .com bubble burst, I had I was sitting pretty as a 24-year or 25-year-old. Actually, no, probably 27, whatever it was.
You still own the shares?
No, they're worth shit now. But
why?
Because when I left, they devalued them so much that the $90 I got in at ended up becoming like $22. And then by the time I could actually get them fully vested is the last year I left. And at that point it was garbage. It was just nothing because it was so bad. I mean, the market had tanked, all of the value in those shares just went away. And then, they kept forcing everybody in the company to say, hey, you got a 401k? 50% of your 401k has to be in JP Morgan stock. So I got screwed twice.
Yeah, but the stock's up now.
It is now. I mean, it's 20 years ago. I mean, I was there with them way back in 2000. So, it's been a long time.
I bought some. I think my first shares at JP Morgan I bought were $92 a share. Now it's like what, almost 200.
Dude, I was with that company for so long, not to drag this out, but we were in a division at the Lowell Wang Towers, and they were going to close that division. It was Client Access Solutions or something like that, I think is what it was. They were closing it after 10 years. Every 5 years, they keep telling us, oh, no, we got to keep you on. Oh, no, we got to keep you on. And literally, I was one of the last 3 people to close the facility because they had to keep us on to babysit these archaic systems for folks like
Were you doing IT for them?
Oh, yeah, I was doing IT for them. And so, yeah, I would go into work every morning, and I would sit in a server room and kind of go, and stare at this, piece of equipment in the rack to make sure the lights stayed green. If they didn't stay green, I had to reboot it. And if it didn't come back, I had to go find parts that we had a pile over in the corner to throw in there to make it work. It was pretty bad.
When we went to England, my dad got a compact computer.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
The thing, it weighs like
a brick,
40, 50 pounds. It's got 64 megabytes in it. My dad, up until maybe 5 years ago, was still using it to write down his stock prices every day. And I said, Dad, you can do this online. Until I showed.
Get yourself an iPad. It's much faster.
Yeah, until I showed him. I said, dude, this is how you do it. And but he still has it. I said, don't get rid of that. I go, that thing's going to be worth something. And he goes, yeah, it was a $10,000 computer when they gave it to me. And then when I retired, they just told me to keep it. I'm like, yeah, because no one wants that piece of shit.
They don't recycle that piece of shit. All right. So
it's not worth $100.
Are we going to do any of the show or we want to just keep going? I'm cool with whatever, man. Like, this is one of those shows that's going to really throw people a curve because you guys have been talking for 54 minutes already, and I just jumped in and picked right back up.
Yeah, we were just shooting the shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you want to pause and you feel like testing tonight, Todd? If you don't,
Not really.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, Paul, you got the night off. I'm sure you prepared. Yeah. So, oh man, I don't know. Like, what'd you think of last night? Oh, well, I mean, Todd, you weren't there. So, did you catch any of the near stream last night?
No. So we're at this graduation party, which is right near the high school, and there's literally no signal there. So I thought I had like a good signal. But their Wi-Fi even sucked, and there was like 1,000 kids there, and they were all on their Wi-Fi, and like, so I was like, all right, but I had a good signal, and then I tried to get on, and it just like it wouldn't log me in. It was like, even though I had like 3 bars, I was like, sweet, nope.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, and I was like, Zach was running around, and
I'm like, you probably would have lost signal pretty fast.
Yeah, I did meet Diane and I met a couple that used to live across the street from them that lived in England. So we were able to go back my old times and talk about some of the shows and shit that we used to watch. I'm like, remember Grange Hill? He goes, oh yeah, man, that was everyone watching. I'm like, yeah. Diane's like sitting there and like his wife's from England too. So she was like, oh, you guys are just reminiscing on your English days.
How about you, Paul? What'd you think of last night? I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
What happened?
Well, we reminisced for a little bit. I don't know how we got down the trails of us being so freaking old, talking about In Living Color and all of how the TV shuts off at promptly at 11 o'clock every night, so we all know we had to go to bed, kind of thing. And it was just really weird. It was a sidebar there that kind of stuck in my head for some reason.
Well, go to a high school graduation party, and you'll feel real fucking old.
We aren't getting any younger.
No.
No, well, unless you've got the formula and you're just not sharing it with the rest of us. But yeah. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. Like, it's kind of freaking scary because here. Okay, so let me put this in context. My daughter got me a new coffee maker for a new Keurig for Father's Day, and I like the old one. You know how it is. You get used to it. You get warmed up. It had its quirks. I was like, it did its thing. It might have not been great for the rest of the family, but I knew how to treat it to get what I want out of it. So she bought me a new one, even though I told her I didn't need anything for Father's Day. And of course, the first thing I do, get down in front of it. I think I literally had the de-evolution of my life fall apart right there in front of me, because I was like, how do you turn this thing on? And I'm in IT, and I felt like really bad after 5 minutes that I couldn't figure out how to turn a damn, Keurig. I mean, it's like just buttons. I mean, there's nothing more to it. You press one button to turn it on, and then so I'm sitting there. My wife must have been laughing at me because I hear snickering in the background. She's like, you having trouble with that coffee maker? I'm like, no, I'm perfectly fine. Leave me alone. I'm good. I'll make coffee eventually. And so, yeah, that's one of those moments. I was like, shit, I can't solve simple things like coffee makers. I mean, it's really starting to show because apparently, audio on my computer is not doing well either, but
yeah, well,
yes, he growls below here. He's like, yeah.
My son got me a new coffee maker for Christmas. And so I did the good fatherly thing, and I put the new coffee pot in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept the old one.
Yeah.
The old one's here in the RV with me, and I fucking love it.
I wish I could, because she threw it in the old box and then stuck it in the back of my truck. And then when I went to the dump, I thought it was the empty box, and I was just kind of shuffling stuff in the fast. And then I'd asked her 2 days. I'm like, hey, where'd the old coffee maker go? She's like, oh, I put it in the box. I'm like, oh, fuck, I threw it away myself. So I can't blame anybody but myself. So I was like, oh, man, this is crazy. But yeah, all that being said, when we were reminiscing about that stuff, what did I do the first thing this morning instead of editing videos? I went up on YouTube and watched every freaking In Living Color that I could possibly find on YouTube. I'm like, man, I am not doing good at all trying to stay on target to get shit done. I feel bad, but it was awesome. It was awesome, man. Oh, but hey, it's what it is. Like we get old, like you said. So,
well, I crack every time I sit up. If I'm sitting on the couch and I get up, I literally crack.
Well, didn't you say your spine's compressed or something like that?
No, I got arthritis in my spine.
Yeah,
ankylosing spondylitis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good thing based on the cracking, because the cracking really sucks. Like I literally crack. Like I get up, you can hear it. Like my bones,
like a knee joint kind of crack.
I don't know what it is, but it feels like, I think it's just my whole body just gets stiff, and then I get up and it's like, and like even like Diane's like, Jesus. I'm like, yeah, fucking. I don't know.
Where's the oil can?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's
or
why
Vaseline or something, man.
Well, that's why
baby oil. I know someone who has a ton of it somewhere.
Yeah, what's his name? No,
he will sell it cheap to you.
Well, that's why my doctor has me taking like this high-end fish oil, because it's supposed to lube my. I'm like, fucking. I'm gonna ask him, like, should I double up on this shit? Because it ain't working.
It's not getting to the right spots.
If I didn't take it, I'd be like, you guys would see me. I'd be like this. They're like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, not working.
STJ, the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, there's one other thing. Oh, how were the bands for you, Paul, when you guys were activating? I meant to ask that.
Well, so it was weird, right? I fully expected the bands to be good.
Garbage. Oh, good. Wow. Okay. All right. I had the.
Well, yeah. So, before I left, right? So, I left about, I don't know, 10 minutes to 9. I had the ham clock up, and I was like, oh, well, let me take a look and see what the spots are and what the conditions are. And dude, K index 1.3, disturbance was only 1. The sunspot number was, I think 80, which, I mean,
not bad.
It's not great, but it's not bad. Solar winds were relatively low, so I anticipated that the bands were going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much fading.
Oh,
like, dude. So we started on 40. Got 7 contacts on 40, and then we went to 15. We're like, yeah, we'll just try it, right? Nope, fucking nothing. Well, all right, let's check 10. No, 10 was fucking dead.
Wow.
Like not even FT8. You couldn't hear even FT8 on 10 or 15.
No, it was just, was he dead or just dead, like no sound audio?
No, just no sound at all.
Wow. Okay.
Like that's radio blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we were like, well, we'll just stick with 20. And yeah, it was like fucking stations would be there and it'd be like, oh, all right, yeah, good clear signal, 5.5, no problem. And then, okay, stand by for second up, and then they're like, gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
gone. And so, like Sean would be calling and he'd be like, dude, did you get my signal report? And then all of a sudden they'd be back again and they'd be like, yeah. Like
the 20-second delay goes to the black hole.
Yeah, no, it was just weird. Like, I mean, it was just
what date was this?
Yeah, today.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just QSB.
Wow.
Like just up and down.
So I went down Friday to the Cape, and I forgot to mention the whole, like, I guess every 32 years in the Cape, they get a huge rash of cicadas, and you go down there and it's fucking eerie. Like, if you've ever heard cicadas, like down in the, bayou in the kind of area, like, it's just like that loud noise. It sounds like a car alarm, but it's not a car alarm or a house alarm going off. It's just like, so I pulled into my parents' driveway and I was like, that's an annoying freaking car alarm. And then I kind of sat there and I'm like, that's not a car alarm. And then the big freaking thing that looks like the size of a, steroided bee flies by my face. I'm like, oh shit, those are the cicadas. I'm like, so like I spent like all day there and I'm like, this is annoying. I can't stand this sound. And I'm like, why does this happen? He's just like, oh yeah, this happens every 32 years apparently. I'm like, well, okay, good. At least that's only going to happen maybe one more time in my lifetime. But yeah, I don't know. It was so bizarre. But the bands, like, so Oh man, I really wish like when I know when we went with Walt, it was like overcast and dreary and like you couldn't see any, more than like 100 yards out from where you were. But we were literally out there on top of the platform at Marconi, and it was freaking phenomenal. Like you could see for miles down the coast. The only problem was the winds were a little high, like because it was predicted 40-mile-an-hour gusts. But Chris had bought the
33H.
Yeah, the 33H. Yeah, right. And that thing, man, that didn't even bend like even an inch. I was like, that was so beautiful. But yeah, it was fun. 40 was really, really quiet, but really packed with a lot of contact. So we just called CQ after kind of hunting a little bit.
Cool.
That's cool.
But brings me to my other point, Mr. Todd there. Do we ever want to put something on the radar? Like, we ever going to finish our kilo there?
Yeah, after baseball.
When does that mean? Like, time?
I have this week, we have districts, and then I have until, I'll have a couple weeks that we could do it. And then I got one more tournament, like the weekend of July 20th. And then I'm done.
And the season ends in October.
No, exactly. And Zach's not doing fall ball. So
he's doing basketball or something else.
Well, yeah, but I don't have to do that.
To tell him to take up chess, it might be a little easier.
Yeah.
You can play radio at the same time.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah, no, it was as I was telling all the guys on Northeast last night, I gave
I know you gave your antenna away.
Oh, it's already gotten away. Yes, I gave it away to hopefully
loser.
I gave it away with the purpose because I know Chris had one, so I was like, he knows how to use it well, and he's used it before. But like once he got his end fed, he's never gone back to his vertical whatsoever. So I knew like at least Parker would get a chance to play around with it. So it was my backup to my backup to my backup antenna. So like if everything else got wiped off the map and that was the only thing left in the truck, then yeah, that would be the antenna I'd use. But it'd be
right.
I have so many more. But I don't know.
Well, let's start this. I'm going to program while we're doing this. I'm going to work on programming my new radio.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you already put that in the car. You haven't put it in yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well,
he just took it out of the wrapper.
I just took it out of the wrapper.
You just did? Wow. Okay, yeah. So this is an unboxing without actually already seeing the unboxing.
Well, you call it whatever you want. I was going to put I put that panel on the side, and then I was going to I have to take it off and then put the antenna on and then run the antenna. And it's just like today it was too fucking hot. Like I have sun on my driveway. Like there's no time there's shade. So I was like, I'm not sitting out here playing around with bolts. And I had to fix Zach's dirt bike because I couldn't figure out. So I got that fixed. And so I just plugged it into where I just swapped it out with the 300 and I'll play around with it. But Yaesu doesn't have a programmer for it. So I got to I either have to put it on a PC, which I might just throw it on my old one.
Oh, no, they don't have a Mac programmer. I think RT Systems does.
Yeah, it's $25.
Well, you don't need the cable. It should be less.
It's still $25. Oh. Cable, it's like $40.
Okay, so here I have FT3, the 3DR RT Systems. I have the FT65 RT Systems. I have the 300. So what's $25 more for the 510? Like you have the 400, which like you should have sold to. You should actually hit up. Ham radio, punk rock ham radio, and sell them your RT system licenses. You can.
You can?
Yeah.
Sell them?
You can transfer the licenses to somebody else.
I saw some other thing. They said, if you have a Mac, you can call them and pay some extra money and have them switch over.
Yeah, you can swap your licenses. But if you have a Windows license for that 400 and you want to sell it with the radio, you can actually email them and say, hey, I sold this with the radio. Can you transfer the license to the radio? Because I'll ask them. Yeah,
so if like my 300, can I call RT Systems and say, I want to take it off the PC and add it to the Mac because I don't have a PC anymore?
I don't know. You might ask. I ended up when
I'd be like, it'll cost you $25.
Probably.
But if I'm buying a new one, maybe that's a good idea. I might do that.
Yeah. I mean, but the other time is like, it's okay. look at it from this way. Like, how many times have you gone to the RT system software to program your radio once you programmed your radio?
Like never.
Right. So why not just you fire up your Windows machine and program your 300 the way, well, you're going to your 300 is already programmed the way you want it, right?
Yeah, but I might want to I sometimes do changes to it.
Okay, well, you have the Windows
the PC. I have to just plug it and get it all set up for the.
So just get yourself a one-time copy of the 510 software for the Mac side. Then you go, and just remember you have it on the Mac, not the Windows side.
Yeah.
But you might be able to transfer the other licenses over to Mac. Who knows? Never done it before. I was just stupid and too impatient and bought 2 separate licenses when I had the cash. Now probably I would think twice.
I mean, honestly, today it's like $25 is like a lunch and a coffee at the gas station.
Yeah, right. I gotta say, wait a minute, that I don't remember other places. Even Dunkin' Donuts is crazy busy, expensive.
Oh my God. Like I bought this unlimited drink. It's like, I forget what it is. It's free for like 3 months because I went to Panera to get a drink, and now you can go there and get like coffees or whatever you want for free. Like you just go in there, order it, and you just get the cup. But I don't go there that often, so I was like, oh fuck, if you're gonna give it to me for free for 3 months, I'll go out of my way and get a iced tea or a coffee during the day. But yeah, it's like a coffee, or just like regular coffee is like $4.
Yeah,
$4 freaking dollars for a coffee.
Everything's more freaking expensive. So
that's why I make my own.
True. Well, that's so. I'm a Dunkies guy. Sadly, it's just kind of the staple that I drink from. So like, I go to like Costco or BJ's and buy like the box of 72 K cups, which usually get them on sale every once in a while. But like, that's pretty much my kind of thing. Like, I don't think I've ever, like, even when we go to Pressed on Wednesdays, I bring my own coffee. It's like I used to feel bad, but then I was like, no, I don't. I'm gonna drink it anyway. So yeah, all good. Oh, I forgot. I didn't forward the email to you guys, but Bob Koff emailed me, and obviously I told you guys that he wants to come out, right? He's coming out for the 24-hour POTA.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's actually coming out earlier in the week because he was like, oh, I've never been around New England at all. And so I want to just come out a couple of days early and hang out, and do whatever. And I'm like, well, dude, I'm sure any one of us will all be like, hey, let's just go out and hang out, grab a beer, do POTA, whatever you want to do, show you some of this, the New England sites. And then he's like, yeah, Thursday or Friday, I'll, hitch a ride with you guys or Uber over to the park and, we'll party for the weekend. And then I'll fly home on like, Sunday afternoon or something like that. So
nice.
Yeah. So he'll be down and looking forward to seeing him and hanging out with him because he actually called me because he felt bad because he's like, dude, I got a bunch of questions and I don't want to, bother you too much with email. And I'm like, dude, why would you bother me with email? Like, just, I'll call you. So he gave me his phone number. So I'm just like, call me. So I called him and we literally were watching Ham Radio Clubhouse. Actually, I think it was when Matt was on Reliance, and I called him right in the middle of it, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm just, we can talk right now. I'm watching Matt and from Reliance Antenna on Ham Radio Clubhouse." I'm like, "Oh, dude, I totally forgot about that." So we're busy like talking on the phone, talking about Ham Radio Clubhouse and all of that stuff, and then he's just asking like a whole bunch of questions. He's like, "I don't want to intrude. Do you guys have any problems? Me coming out there?" I'm like, "No, like Todd and I got space in the camper." He's like, "Oh no, you guys renting a camper? Then I'll throw in for that. Don't worry." I'm like, dude, I'm not going to argue with that. If you want to split it 3 ways, sure, no problem. So, yeah, he seems like a retired cool guy that
How much does the camper cost?
I don't know. I haven't looked around too much for them. We got to get that locked in for.
Are they going to deliver it to us, or are we going to?
No, I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up. Not a big deal. But I come to find out he hasn't gotten his license yet.
What?
He's not licensed. Yeah, he's not licensed. He's working on it.
He's not even a tech?
Yeah, not even a tech. I was like blown away. That's why I couldn't find his call sign. Like I kept looking for his call sign. So he was just like, he was totally like, hey, I stumbled upon you guys. You guys have been, Todd, you've been inspirational.
I have been.
You've motivated him to, obviously get his technician license. So,
yeah,
and he just loves listening to us. So, God bless you, Bob. Sometimes, especially this episode's going to be one of those episodes. But hey, it'll be like just hanging out.
Right.
Well, when he's ready, we can do an online testing session for him.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we can time it at the same time we do him and Parker.
Well, if I get my extra, we could do testing with Bob Koff.
Just get him towards the general. Poor guy. Have to be on him.
Just get him technician general. Get him forever.
He'll be the fourth. Live free just be and ham guy because he's not in the live free state.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Hey, why not? Yeah, we'll expand our horizons. Although, we'll see where that one goes. I don't know. I don't know. What else you guys got going on with you guys?
Nothing. Just fucking baseball. I'm so done with baseball. I really am.
Well, it's good to hear.
I don't like this team.
I heard that last year too.
What?
Yeah, we heard that too. Thank you.
Oh, this is the time of year. Where
so done with baseball.
And then
not doing it next year.
I didn't say that.
You said you didn't want to coach. You didn't want a head coach, and then it evolved into something sort of like that.
Everyone's the head coach.
Everyone's a coach in youth baseball, even the ones in the stands.
Yeah, nothing's working. These kids are so unmotivated. I'm like, and then they were joking around. They're like, "We have a game tomorrow at 8. Like that's when the basketball playoffs on." I'm like, "Do you even want to be here?" Like I was so pissed. And they're like, they're two twins, and their little brother's the bat boy. He's more into it than they are. Mm-hmm. He fetches all the balls. He gets all their bats. He keeps I give him the clicker, and he keeps the score
Ball
for
strikes.
me.
Oh, yeah, score. Nice.
I go, what's the count? 3-2, coach. How many outs? 1. Like that.
Yeah. Nice.
He's 8. Got a bunch of 12-year-olds or a bunch of punks. Hey, I want to watch the playoffs. Good. Don't come then. You suck anyway. I don't want to put you in the lineup.
Well, Paul already knows this. I got to meet the guy who won one of HR2O's radios that he was giving away.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he lives down in the Cape, apparently.
I got to meet him at Nearfest.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well, I told you. Like, I mean, his kid.
Not Chris. No, Chris is different. So.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy, Kate, damn it. It's Kilo Charlie 1, Quebec, Kilo X-ray. I think that's what his call sign. And Jimmy, if I screwed that up, sorry. It's one of those too many K's and throws my mind in a loop. But yeah, no, he's a technician, and he lives down in Turo, and he ended up, I guess he listens to HR2O a lot for a lot of his ham radio stuff, and kind of inspired him to be get his technician license and stuff. He's a Marine, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, I'll have to. We'll have to get him on sometime and have him chit chat and tell us a little bit of story. But yeah, he was telling me on the repeater down there, the 955 machine, which every time I go down there and use that machine, I got silence. Nobody responded, but like it just happened to be weird that like I put a couple of calls out when I was down there, and all of a sudden him, he came back. Another guy, everyone was like super friendly all of a sudden. So I don't know, maybe they were mostly all technicians, or at least those hams that weren't so territorial. But all that being said, he started to tell me a story. He's like, "Oh, I won a radio on some YouTube channel." I'm like, okay, well, that can't be many other YouTube channels. I didn't think Josh was giving anything away, and I know HR2O was giving stuff away. And long story short, yeah, he won the 710 from HR2O.
Really?
Nice. Yeah. I mean, this is old hat for Paul. I mean, I can see how he's already heard this story. But yeah, no, that was kind of cool. Good guy. Very talkative, but anyway.
It's funny with Near, right? Like, I'm always hesitant to like just take charge and like kind of run things, unless it's been pre-established ahead of time that like I'm in charge,
That's all it has to take. Is I'm going to have to just delegate that you're in charge. Because I know Mike and I pick it up from time to time. But dude, I don't want to have.
I've run a couple.
You definitely have. I should. My apologies on it. Yes, definitely. But yeah, feel free, step in, dude. I just tend to put my foot in my mouth a lot. So I don't know if people like that or whatever. I mean, they've loved it on this show. So I guess it doesn't matter anywhere I go.
I just think things and they come out my mouth. So,
but they're a lot more clearer and refined than the shit that comes out of mine sometimes. Marbles in my mouth. That's all at third base. Oh.
Yeah, no, it comes out clear. It's just offensive.
Thanks. Got it. Well, I have great role models because you just allow me to like take all the defense mechanisms off. So it just becomes like, whatever. Brain, mouth, engage. I'm good. But
all right, we're gonna start this because I gotta get.
We have.
Oh, we have.
Yeah, we've been talking.
Well, we didn't do any intro.
I love you, man. Yeah, because I said I said whatever. I said
this is the podcast. There's no intro or anything.
Yeah. Wow, you've become so attached to that, haven't you?
Oh my god. So
welcome to tonight's episode where we just talk a bunch of bullshit, and thanks for joining us.
For 1 hour and 20 minutes. We've been at it. This is the night that you'll never refer. This will be one of those episodes
shit that Paul and I were talking about. It's going to be on.
Oh yeah, dude. I have no idea what to expect when I hear that. That'll be 40 minutes of new stuff material that I'll be like, oh my gosh, where did they go with that one?
Yeah. There's a lot of silences in there. You'll have to edit out.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Like we were,
dude. I think those are the most funniest parts because we had a couple of times where we've had like some silences while we were doing stuff, and it's like it's really silence, and you're like, did the song stop? Like, did we end here? I'm like, kind of, and then it picks back up right when you get to that point of like, I've got to take an action and do something. But yeah,
well, I got to get my radio in the car because
yeah, dude, you've been missing.
Yeah, I know.
If anything, I thought you would have just done like the lazy man stuff and like brought your Bioenno battery, plugged it into the radio, and then stuck the antenna just on top of the roof just so you could get your radio fix.
No, I'll be all right. I mean, I'm doing it right this time. We're not going to Jimmy rig it and have like, I mean, when I took the thing out, I forgot how like I had like 4 wires that were just freaking electrical taped together. I'm like,
yeah, well. That we didn't have many of the things that we needed, I think, at the time when we put it in, and we just wanted to get it in. So
yeah, no, but it's good. Hopefully,
liver nuts.
Hopefully, this week I'll get the antenna wired into where the radio is going, right? And then I can do that. I got my 67 design, so that's good.
Well, dude, hold the head up. You got the head in front of you. I'm curious to see how big it is next to your head. Not that I'm measuring your head next to the radio, but it is a big head radio.
It's not though. Here.
It's not. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Here. I just fucking plugged this one in. I don't know if I. Hold on. Making me unplug everything.
Was it one wire?
No, the antenna. I just put the 300 back in.
Oh. You don't have to power it on. It just,
Well, no, but the 300 is connected. I can't lift it up because it's not enough wire. Hold on. All right. Everything's an issue. All right.
Yes, it is.
So,
okay.
That's the 300.
Oh, yeah. Holy crap.
It's not that way bigger
than yeah, it is. Yeah, face-wise, it is.
Huh?
Face-wise, it is. That's a bigger display for sure.
Oh, it's a bigger display, but it's not that much bigger.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. It still looks a little bit bigger.
I mean, it's definitely bigger, but it's not that much bigger.
So I forgot to tell you guys a story on Near, and I just triggered my head. I stupidly, when I was making modifications to my truck to get my stuff mounted to the back of the truck, like ramming its infinite wisdom, made the hooks on the back of the seat too long. So the only way to like actually get the seats to fold down in my model year is to trim the seats bolt, hooks shorter. So like they just come up and they fall over. So got all that done. And in all that process, I was careful enough to make sure I didn't squish my coax cables to my radios. But when I was like, oh, great, it's all done, you kind of get to that relief point, like you're all done. And then you start to screw down the bolts. Well, apparently I wasn't paying attention, and my cable for my VHF UHF radio had slid back under the seat bracket, and then I drove the bolt down with my air tool to basically snug the bolts down and put some torque on it because of the seat bolts, and I squished the antenna cable and basically squashed the jacket and basically slashed it. So I was like, I got to go get a cable, and so I went to I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna go to HRO because one, I haven't been there in a while, and two, I know they told me that my FT1F credit was there, but it was being applied to a radio that I never bought. So I was going to go argue with them over that credit. So I showed up there, and I showed them the cable because I took it out of the truck, and they were like, oh, yeah, no problem. We have this cable. So I got another replacement cable. And I'm like, I've got a $35 credit somewhere in the account. And like, I don't have the 1F, but somehow you guys credited it as me as receiving the radio and then, applying my $35 credit. And they're like, oh, yeah, it looks like we changed it around. We'll give you the $35 credit. You just apply it to the cable. No problem. So I was like, okay, cool. Got the cable pretty much, off the credit. Didn't have to pay a dime. And I'm like, you guys got the 1F for display? And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, come on over. And he starts to like go into like all the sales spiel. And I was like, I felt bad because like I was bashing it hard because I was like, this thing on and on and on. Like I was like, it doesn't do this, but it does. He's like, oh yeah, I know. People really like the speaker. And I'm like, I don't care about the speaker. I don't want to be 20 yards away and still be able to hear it. That's not my problem. I'm like, they just missed the mark. And then of course, a couple other hams came in, and there was one guy from our club, and I can't remember his name or his call sign at the moment. I'm kicking myself for it, but him and I started into the conversation, and we were both bashing it. And the poor sales guy was sitting over there, like he just kind of like withered because it was like at that point he couldn't prove to us that the at 1F was any more worth our money to get to buy it. And I was like, if they only took more time, and he's like, yeah, if they only took more time. So literally, I think we had like 3 people in the store, all like basically like, yeah, they just totally missed the mark. This is just a piece of hot garbage, and left it at that. And so the poor guy was like, they're selling like hotcakes. We can't keep the Optimus on the shelves. I'm like, okay, sure. I'm sure you're going to get all of them back.
Yeah, well, that's just it. They're selling like hotcakes because every one of those types of person, right, has to have the latest and greatest as soon as it comes out.
Right.
And then there's going to be a shit ton of faulty fucking used radios out on the market.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Too. I totally forgot about all the firmware issues that they had. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird because like everybody, like I took it off the stand and I held it. And I'm like, it's not super heavy. I mean, obviously the battery's not attached to it, so the battery would add some weight. But then the 705 they had bolted to the stand and the big piece of plastic, saying this is a 705. I picked that up and I almost like went like this because it was like way lighter. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is definitely heavier for sure. But at the same time, it didn't feel like it was that much, like anything more than like the weight of a 300 or whatever. And I was just like, it made me very sad, man. Very, very sad.
Team ICOM for the win.
Yeah, true. I mean, not to say that ICOM didn't have their problems with the 705. They fell short on a few things, but they also did a fuck ton more better things to that thing to make it a better radio.
Yeah.
So maybe one day Yaesu will, come around, but I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. Well, yeah. No 1F conversation anymore. Damn it. Why don't you guys just block me from this shit? But I don't know. Hey, I've actually meant to say last night when we talked about field day stuff, do you feel like we're a different chapter with field days this year?
When is field day? Is field day this weekend coming up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Funny, isn't that? It's like you don't even remember that it's coming up.
I knew it was coming up. I just didn't know when.
Yeah. So what makes you say yeah to that? Curious.
So, all right, I'll be honest. Because that's how I am, right?
I can say it's no different.
Yeah. People aren't going to like it probably, but fuck the Steves.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, like quite literally, like they can both like just fuck right off. Fuck them both.
Okay.
I can tell that Mark is trying to do his best.
Sure.
Right. But the level of organization and the level of preparedness isn't there. And so, like, for me, if there's an event like Field Day that I absolutely love, but it's haphazardly fucking thrown together and I don't know what is what, and whether or not I could fucking have a camper or not, and like there's no real good communication. I'm fucking done with it. I'm just kind of over it. It's like, you know what? Like, well,
can you have a camper or not?
Oh, you can. You just have to clear it with Mike.
Which, I mean, probably would have been fine. And I could have reached out to Mike on my own. But I don't know. The point of what I'm getting at, I guess, is just that, like, I love Field Day and I have a lot of fun. And I've very much enjoyed having a station and running a station and putting people on the air and doing all of the cool Field Day things.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I feel like our club is kind of going in two different directions at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't really like either direction.
Okay.
And so
which way, what are the two directions?
Well, you get the old fuckers that don't want to change anything ever. Right. And they're just going to dig their heels in and oppose every fucking change, that no matter how positive it is for the club. And then you've got people with all these grand ideas of all these things that they want to do, but there's no motivation to actually do anything.
Sure. 80-20.
And so it's like, well, all right. I mean, but if there's not people driving the fucking bus, you're going to lose all your passengers.
Well, so I wholeheartedly agree with a lot of your points. This we'll say the Steves that we call Steve Squared. We have always known them to do their own thing. They never ever. They always were always on the outskirts of our field days as a club in general. Since I took it over 5 years ago with our club, and I always learned that they were never going. They would always stay just enough on the out edge that they didn't feel like they had commit, but they were still able to keep their space reserved for whatever they wanted. And that's fine. That's how our club has done it before I even came on the scene. And I don't know why or how that ever transpired or why it even transpired, but it definitely is obvious to a lot of folks that it's a separate thing. Like, hey, we've got a VIP section or VIP lounge that only those VIPs can stay in, and everybody else has to stay in the general relative area. And for those that are listening that have no idea what we're talking about, I'm sure you probably all have your own field day issues. But the other side of the coin is I agree with you. I mean, there is definitely not a lot of great communication. It's all kind of everywhere and anywhere. But and I know that's partially due where Mark is at. He's had some other stuff in his life that's been overtaking what he could probably do to step up into it. I could step in, but I don't want to, because I know if he's going to do next year, he's got to learn all of his mistakes this year and know what he didn't know to do or how to do. And not that he doesn't have all the keys to the kingdom in front of him. He does, because I gave him literally a roadmap of all of the field day templates that we use year over year that I just developed. But, hey, I have to learn, because I'm a type A asshole, and I'm going to be like, if I see something going wrong, I so badly want to like stop and jump in and fix it and do it. But that, like, it's not going to be fun for everybody else, because I'm just fucking things up because, it's not what they thought or envisioned. And so that's kind of why I've stepped away. And I feel the same way. It's like, it's not like what we used to do as field days. We used to be fun. Like, we used to have them do our Friday nights. We used to have the nets on Friday nights, and not to say that won't happen, but it's not going to look like the way we know it. And, maybe next year it might, and maybe next year it might not, because, I don't know where we're going to go with it and who's going to step up, if Mark's going to continue it, and hopefully he will, that's the biggest problem, is finding someone that will stay in it for like 3 or 4 years, because it takes 3 or 4 years to be able to get a rhythm down and make it whatever you want it to be. But I'm sure, and I cry at night kind of things, like the whole education pavilion. I think that's going to, fall a little bit flat on its face this year, because, there's just not a lot of people in the club stepping up to want to do that thing. And I think that's a big freaking thing for our club to be able to get involved in, but nobody's going to, be as committed. But that, hey, that's neither here nor there. And again, it's not going to be like how we liked it or how we know it to be.
But can I ask you, why?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do we allow the Steves to do their own thing? I always thought it was just ridiculous.
Don't know.
And that we should just say, listen, this is where we're doing it. If you don't want to be here, then go someplace else.
Well,
like
he's Mr. Aries. Come on now. Like, he's a very important person.
Yeah,
so is his camper.
But you got to respect the fact that he's just a very important person. It's like Fred.
He's
radio.
What gets me about them is like they're very like almost like an entitlement, and the rest of the club is over there. Like he's in first class, they're in first class, and the entitled, and we're like in coach, right? Like in the back of the plane.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, like the Aries nets that they were doing when they first started doing them sucked. And all he did was want to bitch about Tom and that the repeater sucked. And I was like, dude, we do this net every freaking night and have no problems. You're the emergency experts and you suck at your job. Like you don't even know how to talk on a repeater. And it was just there's something wrong with our repeater. And it wasn't. It was they didn't either have the tone on or they didn't have their volume. I'm like, if this is what Aries is all about, I'm definitely never getting into Aries, because it was a complete disaster. But then he goes around like he's like entitled to have his own camper and do his own things, and we have to go around what he wants to do. And as a club on field day, it shouldn't be individualized. It should be like, this is what we're doing. These are the station captains. This is who's operating what, and that's the end of it. And if you don't like it, don't come.
Well, and to say that he didn't do that under my watch would not be 100% true, because I never gave him more than an inch. If he, like, I always looked at Steve as one thing for me. He needed to be the one to catch the bonus stuff that we needed and that nobody else in the club wanted to do. So like the section Aries messages that, they trap, because that's an Aries thing. So he should be able to do that part very well without my help, or catch the ARL message.
Why not do it with the rest of us, and not behind the barn in the corner of the house where no one sees you?
Well, let me ask the question. Do you want him hanging around?
Well, I don't know. I don't know him that well, because he's always isolating.
Yeah, I agree. My other side of the coin is like, most of those guys that are over there, they don't bother me and they're not bothering us, but I knew we were going to get to a certain point that they just can't be with us, because they're not, like, our club is getting too big. And so now, not that that's a bad thing, but we're getting bigger, and therefore people are going to start asking more questions about why are those people that have malaria over in the corner, shouldn't they be, more intertwined and involved in this process?
Did anyone ever ask them why they don't want to be with the rest of the club?
No, he's just a pompous douche. Like, look at the 4-H was a perfect example.
Does he watch this podcast?
I don't give a fuck if he does.
Probably not.
I'll tell him to his face. Like, no fucking problem. But no, so all of the rest of us that were actually fucking working hard on setting up the 4-H stuff, right? And poor fucking Ira. Like, I mean, what is he, fucking 90?
90, yes, the guy.
Yep. But like, him and his elderly wife, they're fucking setting up they get on the air station, and they're putting their antenna up and everything else. And then Steve comes in and just fucking parks his camper right on top of their fucking antenna and makes them move their antenna after they had just got it up.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you fucking dumb fuck. Back your fucking trailer up and get out of their fucking way.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, dude. 100%. Yeah, he's definitely privileged. He feels like he's privileged for sure.
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, since I've been a member, I always thought it was weird, and it's not like my flying club. We would never do that. we wouldn't have like our float fly, and we don't have a special group of people like in the VIP section that's all by themselves. Like everyone is like, it's just come in, people set up their campers, and we just make a row of them, and then we have the fire pit and the tents and the food, and it's like all there.
Well, let me say this. So since you guys came on, meaning you, Ryan, and Ralph, and Tim, before that, it was myself and our previous president. And he very much kind of played that like, well, let Steve do his thing kind of, and so that was kind of how you followed it. Like I didn't feel like I had enough authority as a leader in the group to say like, why are we dealing with this bullshit? Because it was like, oh, he's just Steve. Let Steve do Steve. And it's like, why? Like, and so that's.
And don't cause any waves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the way of the world, no one wants to start shit.
Well, but not to say that
this is what happened with the club. If you look at the history, when they freaking split up because there's a group of them that were doing one thing and they weren't interacting with the other, and they all freaking left and stole repeaters or whatever.
Well, I mean, but not to answer Paul's other point is that the other side of the club that's all doing the cool stuff, that's getting better. Like I think, now that we're pushing that forward, we'll be in a better place. So we'll be able to address the Steves, because Ralph knows about the Steves. They can all the crap that he kind of delivers.
I mean, if you want me, I'll be the guy next year to be like, listen, the fucking Steves are fucking in the fucking pen, or they're not. They're not coming here and doing their own thing. Because if they are, we're just gonna I seriously will go out and buy 1,000 amp watt and just blast them out of the way so they can't do field day. I mean, because it's rude. It's not club friendly, right? It's supposed to be a time for everyone to hang out.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. And so I think next year, if whatever the decision made, we need to find a different spot. We're outgrowing Mike's place, I think, too much.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at it, right, okay, it's not just us, and it's not just our field day. All right, motherfucker is Mr. Aries, and the Aries group split because nobody fucking likes him.
I know, right?
Is that why they split?
Yeah. So
yes
he's the Nashua guy now, and all the people that actually want to do shit split, and they're the Manchester now.
Ooh, be careful with that, because the way I understand it, I talked to my gosh, I just forgot his name.
Paul Blaze.
Yeah, Paul. And he said that basically what happened was nobody would step up for the Manchester side, because Manchester was there, but the guy who ran it stepped down because of age and illness. And what happened was it got absolved into Steve's group because they needed to move the people and all of that. But there were still people like the Ardent guys and stuff like that didn't want to do anything with Steve because they couldn't stand Steve and the whole merger of that. But what ended up happening was that Paul stepped back in and he was like, oh, I want to do more. I want to take over Manchester again. And so they opened Manchester back up for him to be able to lead that, because they needed someone who was going to like actually move that group forward. And so he's done a freaking awesome job.
Well, the Nashua Aries people are a bunch of idiots. I try to listen to their net, and I'm like, this cannot be the fucking emergency communication group, because seriously, they're unorganized. They don't know. They don't communicate well on the repeater. Most of them
they don't communicate well, period.
Right. But they don't even
hams don't communicate well, period.
I mean, if you're an Aries, right, you should be pretty confident on the radio and feel like you can control, whatever you're doing. Like if you're an Aries guy, in my mind, I'm thinking an Aries guy gets a pile up and is like, boom, 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 right? Gets on a net, can run it. Hey, can you run the net tonight? Sure. And just can do it without even prepping, right? Like, they're the experts.
Yep.
These guys, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, seriously, not stupid, I love our net controller operators do 100 times better running our net than Aries does running their net once a month. Like, they should be volunteering to do our net so they can get practice, so they can run their net just at a satisfactory level.
Sure.
And I've listened to other Aries nets. Like there's one on, I think there's one on the dairy on the Interstate Repeater Society.
Rockingham.
Right. And that one runs totally different than the one on our net. And it's very business-like, but it's boom, 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 boom.
It's very professional and it's run the right way.
Right. Ours is like, and then God forbid you call them out and say it's not the repeater. It couldn't be them. The guy, he gives you a whole bunch of blowback and starts trashing Tom and the repeater, and like freaking Tom has nothing to do with it. I mean, the repeater's been, and he was asking me after they first, like the first time they went on, and Tom's like, "Hey, has the repeater been working all right?" I'm like, "It's been perfect. Like there's nothing wrong with the repeater."
So I got my ticket in February of 21. I want to say by like fucking August, I had joined Hillsborough County Aries.
Mm-hmm.
And after being there for a couple of their nets, dude, I would check into Rockingham County Aries nets, and I would not do Hillsborough County because fucking it was just so disorganized and such a just awful fucking shit show. And then like as time went on, like, dude, I've run all kinds of nets. I've done the Army Mars training. Like, I mean, you want to talk about the perfect fucking guy to throw into Aries is this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And like they shit all over me, and they're so dismissive, and it's like, fuck you. Like, I ain't got time for that. I got better things to do.
Right. Well, it definitely probably sounds like it's the typical, the leadership has been there too long and the leadership needs to be able to let go. And more so, like, I can't blame Steve 110%. I can give him about 99% of that. The other 20 or so, or whatever I want to use for a percentage, rolls up to the area guy. And I can't think of his name at the moment. Alan, I think. No, it's not Alan. I can't remember. Anyway, there's an overseer for the New Hampshire overall. And that's his job in my mind, to be like making sure that all of the lower area, leaders are doing
section
their freaking
manager.
job. Section manager are all doing their job. I mean, they aren't. I mean, we obviously know. It's funny because I've had it's Al is who I'm thinking of.
Yes.
And he, we've had sidebar conversations, and I said, hey, this is kind of my impression. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. And he kind of agreed with it. And so, I don't know if he's spending more time trying to make that work better for Steve, but I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's helping.
Well, and like I said, he does come off very arrogant, and half the things he talks about, like he's not like the super ham, like, oh my God, I got to meet this guy because he knows everything. Because when I've seen him operate, it's very, even when he operates, it sounds very entitled, and and people just go along with it, maybe because they're afraid to say something to him. But if I was running the field day, you're with us or you're not. You're either in the group or you're not going off on your corner thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And that I've done that to him many times in the past.
And
he's not shown up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have all, Winter Field Day is a perfect example. I don't even bother extend it to him anymore. It's like, Steve, don't even bother asking me because I'm not going to tell you yes. Yep. I'll get better results out of Marvin. No, he doesn't do it at all.
Huh.
The field day, summer field day is a tradition, according to Steve. And what that tradition is, I don't know where it came from or who did it or whatever, but it consists of a few club members in our club that used to probably do field day before our club. And again, I don't have the details. So maybe somewhere along the line for a period of time, there was no field days from our club. And they were the only guys that did this. And that's kind of how it evolved to where it is now. And so they're keeping the tradition alive, but, excluding others. What's that?
What did they do? Hide in the corner and operate by themselves?
No, so COVID was, when I first came on, I heard that they had done, when COVID was in lockdown, they still did summer field day. They did it at I don't know if it was at Mike's Barn or wherever they did it, but they had a private field day kind of. And in that private field day, they had what they called their lobster and steak evening. Somehow we did on Fridays that, we ripped off of them. Ours is way freaking better because, why not?
Well, we don't need lobster.
I know, right? What the hell did you go spend that money for? Get more steak. Vegetarian brisket, my friend. So, yeah, I think, that's kind of how it started. I'm just taking stabs in the dark. I don't know where it really kind of came from or who brought it on, but obviously he was a part of it. And yeah, God forbid if I hear one more story about that stupid trailer.
It's not even he makes it sound like it's a piece of shit trailer. Like,
it's a general trailer modified, but hidden from all the wires and everything and technology from his wife, because his wife still wants to use the trailer.
Yeah, but maybe if the club got off their ass and spent some money, we could buy our own trailer or make our own trailer.
Oh, dude, we are. You've got the proposal. We just need to put in the grant.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. I agree with you. I think the club's going. I think there's going to be the younger generation and the guys that are motivated to do different things. Like, Tim's got the CW stuff, and he's got a group there that's doing that. We got the POTA crew. We've got people wanting to do stuff, and I think what's going to end up happening is the club's there's going to be the haves, like the people that do stuff and the people that don't.
Maybe. But I think, with all of our leadership that we got in place, whether, Paul doing the VE stuff and you and I on the board, I don't think there'll be the have and the have nots, because I don't think I don't want to leave anybody no man left behind.
I was surprised that they agreed for the tent.
Oh, dude, but that's the whole point.
Because if he was going to say no to the tent, I was going to say, or no to pack it up or whatever. I'm like, all right, you're going to stay after, and you and the other Steve can put the fucking thing away.
Well, but dude, here, that's one thing. But here's the other thing. Our last meeting, I know you weren't at because you had some other function going on. Baseball. We voted to give Tom $200. No problem. Everyone raised their hand 100%. And so
for what?
It's so we're sending Tom to Tom Junior to TI, to Steve Good Games thing. So
all right, that's a worthy cause.
$100 to pay, $100 to pay him, giving him a stipend of $100 so he can use it for gas or whatever. And then he's got other teachers, and I said basically this is our model we're going to do for other schools. So if this works for the club, then we're going to keep loading up other schools that want to bring on ham radio and build ham radio clubs, and Tom's going to help us get us plugged into that. And then we're going to get them all trained and get them all real freaking cool stuff to be able to work in the classroom and stuff. And so, yeah, they voted 100%. It's funny because Ralph just sits there and goes, why do we ever, he's like, I know we have to keep doing this. So they stop constantly thinking that we're trying to screw them over and spend every single dime we've got in our coffers. They vote for it. And then, lo and behold, they voted for it unanimously. And after the 50-50 thing, it's going to be whatever.
I think, I honestly think that anything you want to do for the club, you just vote on it. And they never vote anything down.
They haven't yet. Well, they vote. When I was under the regime for field day, they voted down a couple of expenditures, but
remember they tried to vote down the website.
Yeah,
they didn't want to spend the money, but they have no problem dishing money out, buying books for libraries and stuff. Which again, I think
would it take a fucking year to get the website going?
Yeah. Although that's a record.
So let me ask you
I've talked to other clubs that it's taken them 3.
Are our viewers going to even care about what we're talking about right now?
I don't know. So we have to.
What the hell?
Hey, I guess they can look at it this way. Hey, this is what you get when you're in a club and you're part of other ham radio folks that are all multi-generational.
So what I got out of this is don't piss the Grouch off or he's coming after
you. Well, that's an obvious one.
I want to egg him on and be, you know what Steve said about you there, Paul? He said, what? I'm going to go in. Field day, it'll be like a brawl.
Dude, I had an epiphany last night. I'm going to tell you now up front. So these are coming your way once you get me Carlos's address. I'm creating you and Carlos 2 t-shirts, and on the back, they're going to, on the front, on the small little section right above, just below the collar, is going to have the Live Free and Ham logo. And then on the right lapel, it's going to say Apostle Paul for you, and it's going to say Parachute Jesus on his. And then I'm putting your Grouch logo on the back with you skydiving, and then I'll put his logo on the back of his. So you guys can wear those where you're down at
At Huntsville?
Yeah, Huntsville. I keep forgetting that. Man, why can't they just be other letters? Like, they have to be so freaking close. I always screw them up. Yes, at Huntsville. So that's coming your way.
Hey, when are you coming home at all?
After Huntsville.
You are?
Yeah. Yeah, after Huntsville.
You're not gonna go back to Indiana and might.
Well, all right. So here's the thing. I have to go home at some point because I've got mail and packages and shit that's accumulated since the beginning of May.
Right.
I don't know. I got to figure out where I'm gonna park the RV while I'm in New Hampshire.
Well, I got an idea for you. I was at court the other day. Some dude just decided to park his fucking boat in 4 spots on his trailer, just fucking sitting there, court parking lot. And I went to the bailiffs. I'm like, dude, why is there a boat taking up 4 spots? Because parking's tight. Nothing we can do about it. It's a public parking lot.
Well, I mean, dude had to go to court before he went fishing.
No, it's been there for like a week. The guy just like, that's where he's parking.
Oh, wow. They can't get rid of it.
Just leaving it there.
There you go.
I'm not saying it's in the best neighborhood and that you probably want to leave there, but honestly, I mean, you could probably just dump it there and people wouldn't. I mean, I'll keep an eye on it, but
get yourself a Cousin Eddie white robe and some slippers and a nice, winter red parka hat. And come on out there and say shitter's full and dump it in the sewer.
Dude, go ask Mike if you could park it right in Steve's spot and just leave it there.
And
then he shows up and like, what the fuck? Get this out of here. I know.
He won't be around for that, but it's too soon.
Oh, you're not going to be at field day at all?
No,
none of us are.
No,
you're not either. Where are you going?
No, wife's birthday, dude. My wife's birthday all weekend. Thank God it's
weekend.
Dude, does your wife not go? Well, maybe my wife's an exception to the rule, but my wife always be like, it's my birthday week. Like, what?
Week?
Yeah, week. It's already started as of tomorrow, so runs all the way out to the 30th.
I'm going to try to show up if I don't have a
dude. Go for it. I'm curious to see what's going to. I'm excited that
I might
people
I might go to the camper and just take over Steve's radio and can I operate?
Go for it, man.
Just stay there all night, dude. I'm gonna pile up. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, the only thing I got to get Monday out is the N1MM stuff set up for Mark because he has no idea what he's looking at. But outside of that,
I don't think anybody other than you knows anything about all that shit. Well, maybe Bill does, but
yeah, there are a few. I mean,
who's cooking?
Nobody. They're just ordering pizzas. Yep,
they're ordering pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tim's not going to be there either, right?
No, Tim is staying over. Yeah, but he's operating, I think, his own, like, he's doing stuff light. I don't know, like, because of his health and, whatever. Or maybe he's working that weekend. I can't remember what it was, but I know he said he was going to be there, but I don't know to what level.
Jeez.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be different, dude. It'll be different.
I might see what Carlos is doing for fucking field day.
Dude, that'd be fun. Yeah. I mean, heck.
Maybe we should... Maybe next year we should do a live free in Ham field day.
Let's do it at a fucking state park.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
We should think about that because that might be kind of fun.
If Greenfield turns out to be a good thing and we've got a really good rocking relationship, there should be no reason why we couldn't do a field day for live free in Ham. Do Whiskey One live free ham.
How many years have I been saying, right? Like field day, whether it be summer or winter, should be at a state park. That way, you can make it a 4-day fucking thing, and you do POTA on Thursday, Friday, and then you do field day Saturday, Sunday, and then fucking pack it up and head home.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
You could probably do that. You probably do winter field day at Temple Mountain in that parking lot.
It would be really freaking cool.
Because it's not like, I'm not saying this, but most of the parks are closed, right? Like you can't get into it, go camping.
We should figure out if Arcadia has any ham radio clubs doing field day from there. And if they're not, go do a W1LFH up there.
At 001?
Cool. Yeah, at 001. That would be balls. That'd be awesome. No.
Whatever happened with Jason coming out to Arcadia? And remember,
I'm sure it's still in the works.
That's been in the works for like 2 years.
Yeah, dude. Well, you know,
I thought we were going to go up there and rent the camper, meet him up there, and
hey, you know,
the busy life of a YouTuber.
True. That is pretty much what it is. We all know that. We share that. You know, well, at least two of us share that wholeheartedly. You know, you're experiencing it a little bit. You haven't produced a video in a while. I'm sure it's eating at you.
Not really.
Okay. All right. Well, then fine.
You know what'll happen is like I said, when the baseball, I'm no longer coaching and I don't have any responsibilities except bring them to the games and practices, I'll probably be getting more. I just don't have the time.
Oh, I get it. I
mean, today I had the game. I come home, I cut the grass, I jumped in the pool, put the stairs in, took a shower, picked them up went out to the, I don't know, some freaking club in Amherst with his friend to their pool. Came home, made dinner, and here I am.
Oh, no, trust me, dude. The only thing that's going to get a little easier is when he starts to drive and you can say, take the car. Oh, yeah. Leave me alone. I'll be here.
Well, Diane's working from home and you know, I'm working. So Milana's been driving him to his friend's house. And I left so I went over and I fixed his dirt bike over at his friend's house because I couldn't figure out how to get the freaking Chinese crap, dude. Like the most idiotic way to mount the motor. It was like everything has to be precisely in the right spot at the right tilt angle. Like it doesn't even sit like on it's like hangs, and you got to get each bolt in, and some of them have like spacer. I'm like, what the so I had to like use his bike and copy it because I had a bunch of freaking pieces, and I'm like, I have no idea where this even starts. So I got that thing going, and then I just left it there, and Matt, my buddy's like, dude, he goes, you know Zach's bike's here? I'm like, yeah, he rides it over there all the time. So like Milana was dropping him off to his friend Sam's house, and Sam's not even there. And to get his bike out of the shed to go ride with his other friend Nico and tear up the high school. So they're riding off like they have a big mulch pile. He's like, check out this air I got. And him and his buddy are driving up and going off the mulch pile and getting air and coming down the back edge.
Nice. Now, Paul, do you recall an episode where Todd was talking about taking apart the bike and his son going, Dad, do you know where all those screws go?
Did we talk about that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I even offered a fantastic suggestion.
You did.
Take a piece of cardboard and draw where your bolts go, and then stick the bolts through the cardboard so that they stay in place, and then everything is nice and neat when you go to put it back together.
It was all the same bolts, so it's not. The only thing is it had.
But they're not.
No, they are. But some had spacers and were longer, and other ones didn't. But the thing that was hard is you don't understand it. Normally, you would like plop it in and bolt it in. This thing has to be balanced in on these thin little metal. I'm telling you, it was like, and then you got to get the chain on. So trying to get the chain on without losing it, I was like, what the? This is like, why? Who designed this shit? Like,
I need that 1990s ad that we used to see on the TV, that little shooting star says, now you know.
Yeah.
The more you know.
No, yeah, right. The more you know, right? That was what it was.
Yeah. And even his dad is like, he's like, man, he goes, we fucked up buying these things. These things are a piece of shit. I said, yeah, you told me to buy it. It was a good deal. Again, all we do is sit here and work on them. And the kids don't know what they're doing.
Todd has many of these people in his lives that shows him how to spend his money.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones, so I don't feel so special.
Well, I tell you, his friend Nico, him and his dad share a Suron. Dude, those things are freaking. I go, hey, Nico. So Nico's dad is a construction guy, right? And he's always fixing shit. So Nico's always fixing shit, and he knows. So he's like giving Zach a hard time because Zach doesn't even know, how to. Which screwdriver, I go, hey, get me the flathead. He gives me like a fucking wrench, or something. And Nico's like, Zach, get out of the way. Let me do this. And like, thank God, because Nico was able to hold it while I was getting the one bolt in just to get the first bolt in. So I said, hey, Nico, I go, you think I could take that Suron for a spin? He's like, yeah, sure. So I get on and he goes, hey, he goes, if you wanted to go faster, just hit that button to sport mode. Well, dude, this thing hauls ass and is like a fucking light dirt bike. And it is awesome.
So what's the big, like, excuse my ignorance, because
a Sur-Ron is older. The Sur-Ron is like in between like a dirt bike and a mountain bike. And it's all electric. It does about 50 miles an hour. But it goes from like 0 to 50 and like...
But like it's got dirt bike tires and...
It's got dirt bike tires, a little bigger than mountain bike, but smaller than like a regular dirt bike. And
it's not the balloon thing tires, those things.
No, they're skinnier, but it's got like a one shock in the back like a dirt bike would have. And it's got, I mean, the thing goes like, it'll go for like 40 miles at 25 miles an hour is what it says. It'll go 40 miles. But the thing is like, it hauls and it goes like super fast. And I'm a big guy. And I was cruising on it. I took it all the way across down the power lines through the baseball field. I was like, holy shit, this thing is awesome.
Wow.
So I'm like, that's what you need to get. But they're like $4,000.
At that point, you're buying a decent dirt bike.
No, dirt bikes now. I looked them up. A gas
not
dirt
brand
bike,
new, but like probably
brand new. What do you think a brand new like freaking Kawasaki dirt bike costs?
Probably like 15 to 20K.
Yeah. I was like, what? Like they were when I was a kid. They were like $2,000.
3, yeah. I know. Trust me, I was looking at one. Yeah.
Right. Now I'm like $15,000-$20,000 for a dirt bike.
Yeah.
But I guess
that's brand new stuff.
So the Sur-Ron company, right? So they're kind of like the Jeeps of these electric bikes, and people modify them. So the good thing about them is like there's 1,000 parts for them. So if you break something, you could probably replace it with something even better. Yeah. And I guess Zach watches these videos where there's like groups of people that get together and they'll meet up somewhere. So like they'll go to like, all right, we're going to go to San Diego, and people like will drive hundreds of people and get on these bikes and just take over the roads, kind of like a
posse.
Like a posse of guys. And they rent Airbnbs and they charge them all up and they ride all day long, all night long. And Zach's like, check out these. And they're doing wheelies, and some guys have it like super modified. They add bigger whatever. But I guess like out west, it's a pretty big thing. So when I was out in California, I saw like 20 of them coming, like a small group coming down the street. But we're like on the main strip in Huntington Beach, and these fucking guys are wheeling, blocking traffic.
Wow. Yeah, it's the guys out in LA that probably are the ones causing traffic jams.
But the thing is pretty cool because you could go anywhere. You could ride it on the street. You can go off onto the trails. You could go down power lines. I mean, you basically can go anywhere you want with the thing. Like
until the battery dies.
Yeah, but it goes 40 miles.
Okay, so like being a kid, like you're not thinking like 40 miles. You're like, hey, I hear the motor and all of a sudden the sputtering kind of thing. I've got to put more gas in.
It has a digital thing, and it only takes 2 hours to charge it.
Okay.
It has a like a meter that'll show you, so like when you're getting close.
I don't know, dude. I'm still gasser guy. Like I haven't crossed over, man. Batteries is the only for ham radio for right now.
Well, I'm telling you, the electric engines are like my brother's Tesla. I'll tell you that there is not a motorcycle or a car in the world that can beat that thing off the line. There's nothing. I don't care what you say. Those things are so freaking fast. When you unleash like you just put it on full power go and you floor it, you're pinned against the seat.
Dude, it's 100% torque. It's 0 to 100%.
You do
exactly.
like 0.
It's a direct drive.
Yeah, you're doing 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. And then you're cruising at 60 and you floor it again. You're doing $120 in 3 seconds. Like it's that fast.
Oh, I know. And you mount them together and you pair them up front and, 4-wheel, all-wheel drive kind of thing. And yeah, you just multiply it like
Yeah, it's just. I saw a video.
And then your battery dies.
Bigger battery.
They get like 300 miles, I think. Okay, a Tesla is cool for like local, like just driving around town. But it sucks. Like if you ever wanted to go like on a road trip, it sucks.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
because they'll tell you, like the computer will tell you.
I can only imagine, like if Paul had a Tesla and he took it down to Indiana, how he would have replanned his trips.
You plan your trip, and it says, "Oh, you can stop here and charge and go get dinner." So it'll plan. But the problem is, there might be 15 fucking Teslas in front of you waiting for that one charger, and it takes 2 hours or an hour each one. You're stuck there for 15 hours.
So you become the Tesla owner that has a trailer with a generator on the back that's actually running as you drive down the road.
Yeah, like the Rivian trucks, and the guy had the generator in the back. Yeah, I mean it's the technology is really cool, and like I said, the electric and the motors are that Suron thing freaking went. Like it is fun. Like it'd be something like you would drive. Like I could drive it from like my house to the barn, and probably be there faster and quicker than driving my car, just because it just hauls ass up that hill.
I don't know if you'd be any like it doesn't make you faster. Like they don't flatten the roads out for you and make them straight. Like you still takes 40 minutes to get to the barn.
Speed limit's still a speed limit.
Not on that thing.
Yeah,
the cops came after you. You just pulled
over
one of those
too, because they just automatically sign the ticket for you, and you can get you on your way.
I found out that Amherst does not give two shits what you drive on the road, because I asked him.
That is not true.
Well, I asked
the only time. All right, so I haven't had an inspection sticker on my truck since 2020. The only time I have ever had an issue is fucking Amherst.
Okay. I didn't say driving illegal, street legal vehicle. I said things, they don't care what you drive on the street. Meaning, I got the Ford Ranger, right?
I mean, a non-inspected, perfectly fucking good truck.
I have a Polaris Ranger, and it costs me $25 a year to register for the street, and it allows me to ride it on the trails, right? So you don't have to get that sticker that you used to get like for snowmobiles and stuff, because that's like
OHRV sticker.
Yeah, you can drive that on regular local town roads, but you can't drive that on 101.
No,
that's a state highway.
Not on state, but you're right.
Yeah.
Local roads.
Okay.
So I asked them about these Surons and these dirt bikes. They're like, yeah, we don't care. We don't even know what the laws are. So yeah, you can ride them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from the chief. Yeah. He's like, yeah, you can ride whatever you want.
The same guy that wanted to give you a dispatch job too.
Yeah.
So there we go. I don't know. Insider baseball.
I'll get that job eventually. I couldn't do it now anyway.
Very cool. So question, a sidebar. Any of you guys been paying attention? I guess TO's doing a 4 days in August. Did you see that? They're planning for that?
Yeah. Well, so
4 days. What do you mean 4 days in August?
Well, you know about 4 days.
Well, let me fucking explain.
All right, there, Grouch. Jesus.
So, are you involved? I guess it sounds like.
So, all right. I was unclear about these things because I've never been to a big ham fest.
Sure.
And so I was operating under the assumption that like the 4 days in May and the 4 days in August was a vendor thing. Apparently it is not. There's a vendor night.
Yeah.
But it's essentially, it's just the ham tubers they organize like get-togethers and meetups and kind of non-forum kind of things.
So the 4 days in May is all put together by ham tubers?
From what I understand, it's
okay.
It's just them organizing. So yeah, there's going to be like a mesh-tastic fucking thing, and
wow.
Obviously Friday is skydiving.
Okay. Oh, so you will be partaking in that one for sure.
Oh yes.
So it's basically what the Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday kind of like it's basically 4 days before up to the ham fest, right? Is that how
yes.
Work out? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I thought it was always run by the QRP guys, like at least the 4 days in May one, but it sounds like it's
I mean,
not.
that might be, but yeah, I mean, definitely the ham tubers there, they've got their hands and all that. And
did they have it last year too?
Must have, because
I don't remember hearing about it.
I asked about it and they were like, "Oh, this isn't a new thing." Like,
wow.
Like, oh, okay. All right.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm curious to see what that one plays out, because the way I was like watching, I was like, I watched the video, a little bit of it, and I was like, wait, like this, like T.O. said he was kind of in charge of it, and I was like, but is he? Yeah. Is that Diane?
No, it's Milana's friend.
Oh, okay.
She's been
the one that had your hots for you on our live streams a couple of months.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Interesting demographic there, Todd, that we're attracting to our little podcast here.
Yeah.
Well, it was just interesting. She was taking pictures over your shoulder.
Oh, I didn't see that part until I saw her, like, kind of like, she looked like that little, like, something out of a horror movie, because she was like kind of fuzzy. Yeah. So I was like, okay, what the hell am I looking at here? Okay, so it sounds like it's an interesting, I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to see like what they'll do this year to kind of promote it a little bit more, because I think it's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, so like I missed the planning.
Replay.
But when so Tio's got this whole Huntsville 4 days in August channel in his Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And so so there's YouTubers coming, right? You get Jason 2.0, K Murder, Rob, Tom WA2IVD. I don't know who that is. Ham Radio. Oh, Ham Radio A to Z.
Still haven't.
John from the Ham Shack.
Oh, Ham Shack TV.
AFL. Kyle. Jeem. Josh, Chuck, Broken Signal, and Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we got activities, Nano VNA, Satellites with Digital Rancher, Program Your Radio, Build a Repeater, Soda, Space Museum, Broken Signal, Brewery, Back 40 Beer Company.
What? And
then a Meshtastic presentation, possibly on Wednesday.
Is that before or after the beer kind of? Because that might make Meshtastic even more interesting.
Well, so all right, now here, so Monday, the events for the day are to be determined, but as it stands, K Murder and I are the ones arriving on Monday. Tuesday, events for the day are to be determined, but Jason 2.0, Lee, and W4ORH are arriving.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday is KB5 UTY Meshtastic presentation. And Doc Brad's going to be there. FEP Jim will show up. Digital Rancher will show up. NJ4Z shows up. Broken Signal shows up. Hank W6IR is looking for a campsite. And Dave Meshtastic also arrives.
And so where are they all doing that? At the campsite?
I think at Montesano, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Then Thursday,
show us some video. I'm curious.
Yeah, so Gigaparts, 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 classes, 3D printing, solder kit, go bags, lunch.
Wow.
And then AFL comes in on Thursday. Shooter ready, stand by. Chris Bricker and Lawn Mower all are going to arrive on Thursday. Friday, the events, coffee at Carlos.
What's that?
It says Carlos is 51A, so I assume maybe 51A is where Carlos is staying.
Okay.
We're all invited for coffee with Carlos.
Interesting. So it sounds like they bounce around the campsites, and that's where they do all like their little forums. But it's kind of like they do Christmas in July, kind of like those campground things where the kids go around and hit up each other's campsites. That's pretty cool. Well, not that they're collecting candy, but yeah.
Well, then they're going to do a phased Z arrays antenna demo, some kind of POTA cookout, parachute jumps, pop-up VE testing.
Yes,
and dinner at 51A. So wherever 51A is, and apparently Renee is volunteering to help cook.
Cool.
And then Saturday and Sunday is the Hamfest. It should be cool, anyways.
Hey, very jealous of what you're going into.
How far of a drive is it from where you're at to where you're going?
So if I was to just drive straight through, I think it's like 12 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna break it up over a couple days.
So, all right, I'm gonna throw this in here.
What we got?
Go to large screen here. This is the map. Let me zoom in here. This Monte Santo. You said 51?
51A.
Go away, AI system. I don't care. 51A. Where are we?
Right there.
There we go.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's right next to the bathhouses, but where are you docked at?
33.
Okay, so you're all the way over there.
You're right at the beginning. You're not that far.
Yeah, so it looks like you go in to the camp host site. Yeah, so you're very early on in the parking there. And then 51A is just a little bit down the road. So it looks like the main campsite. So where's there's the pavilion. Okay. So the pavilion's literally just not that far away from you. So, yeah, cool. It's like a real cool campsite. Man, I wish we had some of these places like more up here, or at least, when we do things like obviously we have Nearfest, but Nearfest is just kind of all, very specific, but it'd be really cool to kind of do something like this up here. Go away, hide.
Yeah, I don't know what we've got for state parks that have like RV slots.
We have we have the coast one, which is Hampton. That's in Mass or Salisbury, but that would be the biggest one I could think of.
Yeah, because I think Bear Brook, you can bring an RV as long as it's 30 feet or less, but there's no hookups, there's no power or anything.
And the RVs on that side are on the opposite side, like they're not where you guys camped last year, right? No, Doc. Go away.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Why is it sharing? Go back here. There we go. Stupid thing. I grabbed the wrong one again. There we go. That was it. And no. What'd you do with the regular scene there? You put it at the bottom. We lost.
I didn't do anything with it.
Oh, I see what it was. This one's got the stupid screen here. Go away, trash. There we go. It was hiding, but it zoomed it in. Whatever. Yeah, well, I don't know. Do me a favor. Absorb as much as you can. Figure out what they go and do, and if T.O.'s the kind of the ringleader of that, I'll reach out to him. Talking. So it'd be kind of cool to do something like that up here.
Yeah, I figure I'm gonna wear the GoPro chest mount, and I'm just gonna try and capture as much as I can.
Cool.
Just soak it all in.
Yeah. Go over and torture K-Murder. Ask him about his big black stiff mast.
It'll be interesting to meet, a lot of these people face to face for once, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't know about you, but I always assume that people are judging me, right? Yeah. And I'm sure they're probably not, right? Mm-hmm. But I always assume, right? It's human nature. We always think that what is it? The spotlight effect, that we're drawing more attention than we actually are. But I don't know. I feel like Jason and K Murder and Josh and those guys, they're familiar with who I am, but they have no interest in being friends with me.
Well, yeah, and I get that because it sadly the internet makes things closer, but it makes things physically far away. Sadly, so we I feel sort of the same way. Like when I see them do their thing, and you got the Shane, you got this side of the radio, and all those guys in the Texas area hang out because they're locally Texas guys, and so they all.
But you say that, but like, I mean, you could be in Texas and be 6 hours away from each other.
True, but for them that's normal. Like you look at like us here, like we travel an hour out to the coast, and we think that's long, sometimes. So, but like. It's kind of funny you say that, because it's like when we do Northeast Ham Radio, it's just the Northeast. I mean, that's a big swath of, the map. But like Shane goes, hey, man, why can't I be part of that? I'm like, well, you're in Texas. But, at the same time, it's like, who cares? Like, just come hang out with us. And so it's like they kind of like that's the same feeling, I guess. You kind of, YouTube makes us farther away, but at the same time, we sort of know each other on what we present to them video wise. I'm sure their view of me is probably not just any better than the stuff you struggle with in terms of them thinking of what you think of yourself. But yeah, it's funny because I had shared that same story when Jason came out here when they did that rove with Kyle. Like they were fast paced, and like I got 5 minutes with Jason. And he knew me from nobody. And like, I'm just like trying to have a conversation. And I felt like he was kind of sort of like, hey, cool, good to meet you. But I got to get to my next destination. I got to he was just off doing his thing. And him and Kyle like clicked. And, I only had talked to Kyle just a little bit in email, and I felt the similar way. It's like, what did they think of me? Like I'm this small little lowly guy with like 500, subscribers, they must think I'm just like this leech trying to steal every subscriber away from them kind of thing. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit more mature, a little bit, wiser, as they say, but, I share that sentiment for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're all great people, and we're going to get along, and we're going to have a great time, but yeah, it just, I don't know. At least from this point, it feels like, those guys just have zero interest in
if I'm being
understanding
honest,
me.
and we're the circle of trust. My only fear is that you're going to go down there and you're going to click with them all really well. And they're just
move to Texas.
No, well, the Texas is fine, whatever. But like, they're going to associate the Live Free and Ham just to Paul. Like, it's just going to be like Live Free and Ham Paul. Like, Todd and I are just going to be like this, like, ephemeral, fixtures in the background that kind of just fill in dead air when, Paul's not busy talking or whatever. And so like,
but in all actuality, like, you guys are Live Free and Ham, and I'm the add-on.
But dude, I'm gonna get a little mushy here, but dude, you've added the color to this little crew here, so that's why we love it. Because as Todd says, what else would we be doing? Talking at 80 meters, just him and I.
Yeah. Well, look at Live Free and Ham really came out of even Ryan came out of POTA.
Yep.
Eric and I were doing POTA, right? And Ryan came by, introduced himself, got him to the club. And then I got my general. And then like the second park at the rail trail, the three of us went.
Yep.
And that was my second time doing it. And then that was it from there. Then it was field day. We did a bunch of field days or whatever. And then, here we are.
Yeah.
Live Free and Ham.
Yeah. No.
How many years now? 2 years?
2 years. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty 2 years young, as they say. But I have a feeling, we got many more to go. And, dude.
Well, I look on Buzzsprout, and it's like, you've got 11.8 downloads, and your next download is 25,000. It's like, well, we're not even halfway there.
I know. But, dude, it goes quick. I mean, we hit, like, our subscribers are freaking funny to watch. Like we've hit, like, when we launch certain podcast episodes, I don't know whether we tease them or not, or we don't do it at all. But like, we've had like 200 or 300 downloads in one day. Like, that's like mind blowing in my mind. Like 200 people download our freaking podcast and want to hear us babble exactly what we're doing now.
There's also, like, if you look at the countries, like, there's countries like, now I'm wondering, this is what I want to know. If you're listening to this and you're from New Zealand, just send us an email and let us know you're legit. Because I'm thinking, is it just guys with like VPNs and they just pick New Zealand and that's what it shows up as? Or are there really people in New Zealand listening to us?
Dude, if we ever get big, I don't know if you guys subscribe to Callum at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so he does his yearly like open house thing, and I'm like, and it's always like in June this time frame. It's like week before DX, before field day, at least for us. And I'm like, I so badly just want to figure out how we can book tickets to fly over there and spend like the whole entire like week with him, hanging out at his freaking antenna farm and play with his radios.
Where in England does he live?
Good question. I don't know. I'd have to find out. I could find out really quick here.
Well, it's not a very big country, so
sure.
Yeah. It's like 3 hours from like south to north before you hit Scotland.
Where is
it's like going from New Hampshire to New York.
He's in Hon Honolly, CV8, England. Honiley.
Never heard
That's
of it.
That's where the shop is.
Honolly.
Good question.
I don't know. I saw like a reel or fucking whatever it was, right? But it was an English guy, and he was like, "Listen, I need to explain to all the other people that live in the UK the difference between traveling in the UK versus America, right?" And he's like, "You can literally drive the whole circumference of the UK in 14 hours. Like, you could drive 14 hours and still be in Texas."
Yeah.
And so, he was like, we, being the UK people, like, if they've got to drive, more than half an hour anywhere, they think, oh my God, that's so far. But like, that's kind of like us in New England. If we have to drive more than half hour, 45 minutes, maybe, it's like, do I really want to? But the whole rest of our country, like, you got to drive an hour or 2 hours to get anywhere.
Oh, when I went to college, I lived up north. If you wanted to go and go buy a pair of jeans, you had to like make a day out of it to get down to the mall.
Yeah, true. Question: when you were over in England, where were you? What's the biggest next closest city that you remember when you were over there?
Me?
For you? Yeah, when you were over in England, where?
I lived in a town.
I've never been to England, so he's not talking to me.
Yeah, thank you.
I lived in a town called Cobham, Cobham.
Okay,
near Epping, Weymouth. South. It was south. I want to say it was southwest of London.
Well, let me do this real quick, and I'll bring this in, and you can point me at whether I'm even close or not. Come on, share the screen. Okay, let's make this big and begin. Okay,
so I lived like somewhere around here,
around like Oxford.
No, go to London.
Okay, yeah,
and then go down to like 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Right outside the White.
Southampton, so down.
No. We're up. Keep going. See where it says Epsom? Epsom, Kingston on the Thames. Yep. Right. Okay. Somewhere in there. Woking.
Okay.
Guildford. Probably right around the Woking Epsom area.
Okay.
Somewhere that's where I lived.
So from Guildford here, he lives, or at least DX Commander is up here by Sheffield. So somewhere down in here. Yeah,
that's a distance.
Like a distance, like 14-hour distance, or like we're going to drive to
let me
Jersey.
Shred out a little bit.
Oh,
yeah. That's probably, keep going. I got to see where Scotland is compared to Sheffield. Keep going. Yeah, that's probably about like Edinburgh. So from like here to there is like 3.5 hours. So
that's not that bad.
Yeah, it's probably like an hour and a half, maybe. Okay.
That's decent.
You take the M1.
Hey,
that's a highway.
If folks want to, have us head over to DX Commanders, become Patreon members, come support us, and we'll all three of us figure out how to fly out there and go hang out with Callum for 3 or 4 days, and we'll take you along for the whole entire freaking journey.
Who's paying for this?
I'll take a boat and I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You don't fly. I keep forgetting. Okay, so Paul will be doing the sea portion. It'll be planes, trains, and automobiles, the ham edition.
Wait a minute. What do you mean you don't fly? You've been getting it.
I don't fly commercial.
Well, Ryan will just fly.
Like I say, Ryan might have to private pilot him over. So Ryan will have to come with us. This will be the one journey he comes.
You get to go on the Gulf Stream and
I don't do the Gulf Stream, but yeah.
Why don't you fly commercial?
Because it's a giant pain in the ass.
Well, Ryan can tell you that.
That's the only reason why you don't do it?
Yeah, I hate being vilified to just fucking travel. Like, don't treat me like a fucking terrorist because I've got tattoos and a fucking beard and I talk the way that I talk. Like, fuck you. Like, I got my plane ticket. I'm following the fucking rules. I put my bag on the thing. I don't need to get in the fucking scanner and take my goddamn shoes and my belt off and all that fucking bullshit.
Look, for like a mere $80, you can get the TSA pre, and you can avoid all that shit.
They'll come to your home, Paul, and they'll make you take your shoes off, and they'll probe you and do all that in your own function of your own home.
Yeah, come on, TSA, come fucking get some. Come get some.
Well, you can thank the shoe bomber there. He's the asshole that made our lives miserable traveling.
I'm sure many more added to that, but yeah, he's definitely well known.
He was, after that happened, then it was like, that's when you had to take the fucking shoes off. And I got so pissed one time. I was like, I told Diane, we were coming back from St. John. I'm like, I'm just going to fucking strip naked. Fuck these guys. Like,
that would really go over well.
Well, I was losing so many clothes. I was like, shit.
Just start dancing, go Jamaica, man. Woohoo. Yeah, they'll really.
But so the thing is that in addition to all the bullshit that you got to deal with going through TSA, right? But then you're also sitting on a fucking crowded plane with a bunch of other fucking halfwits that have no respect for anybody other than themselves. Like, nah, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. I'll drive. And if I can't drive,
Dan.
yeah,
apparently we have.
I'll take a fucking boat if I have to.
Or we could figure out how to put them in a live box that says live animals.
Well, if we get enough people,
yeah, hey,
just charter a jet.
If this entices you, or maybe you're rich,
we can charter a jet, and we don't even have to pay for the pilot. We'll just have Ryan fly us. Wow, I can only imagine what that would go for. I mean, Ryan was telling me it was $2,000 to charter a plane just to fly from, somewhere here in New Hampshire to Dayton and then fly back. It was like, okay, yeah, that's expensive. And we get there in an hour. Yeah, but only $2,000.
It was like 2,800 or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
But what kind of plane was it?
Who knows? It was only enough to put 4 people in, so it wasn't big.
Cessna,
probably. Be like
bring any luggage.
It's a single prop, man. Just get out there and pull hard. Yeah, no, we'll see. We'll have to investigate that one.
Right,
I do road trip anyway. I prefer to do all the Poda parks.
Ryan said that he had to go down and pick up the CEO's dogs on Nantucket. That plane, you need 2 pilots, and it's a lot of money to fly those fucking things. And I said, I think it was like $10,000. He said, I said, dude, I would have done it for 5. I would have driven down there and gotten the dogs back.
I know.
And he's like,
back.
he goes, dude, money is nothing to these guys. Like they live in a totally different world. Like to spend $10,000 to go pick up your dogs is like
yeah,
they don't even, it doesn't even faze them. Not even that. They don't even, it doesn't even faze them, the amount of money that these guys spend. He said that the old CEO liked soccer. So I think he said, and don't quote me on this, but I think he said it was like $1,000 an hour or something for them to have internet on one of the planes so he could watch his soccer games.
I believe it. He doesn't pay any of that. The company pays all that. So,
well, I know, but I'm just saying I don't
know. The lavish.
But now he says Uncle Elon They've got a Starlink on it now, so it's probably
the lavish 1% we have in our lovely U.S. economy lives way more extravagant lives than we'll ever know.
Yeah.
Well, man, I don't know about you, but it is 2.5 hours of this, and this has been fun.
You haven't been here. You've only been here.
Well,
for 2
I have
hours.
not. Okay, mine.
Yeah, I've been here for 2.5 hours.
I've been 2 hours. We're almost on the 40-minute mark here.
Listen, and in all fairness, you can cut out everything before you showed up.
Okay, so
and just make that the show.
Okay, we'll see how that one goes.
There wasn't really anything. We didn't say much. We just
great, excellent. Just
there's a lot of like, quietness, and he disappeared. I'm like, where'd you go? I can still hear you.
Yeah, he's got some wires.
I was getting beer.
Yeah,
down the street at the Mart.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. Oh, all right. Well, you guys got anything you all want to add, or we could wrap the show up?
I'd be curious to see what people think of this one, because this was all over the place. I mean, we spent a good 45 minutes basically ragging on our club.
Well, I don't edit anything for our Patreon, so they get the raw as it is, whatever it looks like.
How many club members watch this
Oh,
YouTube?
dude, we're gonna find out pretty quickly. We're gonna find out pretty quickly.
We're gonna be banned.
We all love
Send all your complaints to grouch.n1og@gmail.com.
There you go.
We're gonna be put aside like at the meetings. Liver and ham guys over here.
Todd, can you come over here for a second? We got to talk to you about something.
You guys,
we've already ousted Eric, but we're gonna work on you next.
I know. I already said I got enough friends.
Hey,
I like our club.
It's good.
I think it's a good club. This happens with every club. I mean, we've had these things like. I've been with the Flying Club for 15 years almost, maybe even longer.
Yeah, you said it.
And we've had the up and downs, and I mean, things that go. I just don't like. I just think like when we're doing club things, it should be club things. It shouldn't be separated. It should all be one place and together. That's the way it should be.
Agreed.
If you do something privately on your own, go for it. But it's always bothered me from even when I wasn't even really involved with the club. It just seemed weird.
Well, like Paul said. Ham radio operators suck at communication. so there you go. That's why we have so many problems with our club. But if come hell or high water, we'll fucking get it all sorted out, and everything will all be good on the other side. Okay, you guys. I don't know. I'm one of those guys that I don't care how much water's pouring into the boat. I know this fucking boat's gonna float. So let's just start bailing and get this shit done.
Whaler, it won't sink.
I know, true. Very true, man. Very true.
Our club should be called the Boston Whalers. We refuse to go down.
Oh my gosh, let's not ask for a name change. That could be detrimental. One thing at a time, my friend. Oh man, well, so sorry to those folks that are like, what the hell did I just listen to? Well, we hope you're still listeners. And you're still hanging out with us because, heck, hey, we're real. As Grouch says, you're only going to get the one side of him, and it's the honest side. And, Liver and Ham's the same way, man. We are what you get. And, if you don't like it, well, hey, wait, like New England weather, wait till tomorrow. We'll see what that one brings.
The next episode will be completely different.
Oh, yeah, we'll be back to normal. We'll be like, what the hell did we do? So, all right. Well, we thank you guys for hanging out here, living, the love with Live Free and Ham. And we truly appreciate every one of you guys who supports our show. We can't thank you enough, especially after tonight. So if you want to come hang out with us, you can always head over to our Discord. Tell us what the fuck happened. What you feel like you had to share with your therapist.
I'm going to listen to this one from beginning to end.
Yeah, a couple of times over, just so we get a couple of good pieces of gold there. So,
Mike, we actually might get the hate mail this time,
dude. No doubt. Bring it on. There we go. Todd's waiting for some good, reviews there. This is perfect time for that. So, all right. Well,
you'd be like, we want more. We want more.
Yeah. Dude, oh my gosh.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine they say, listen, we want a show. We'll see how pissed off you can get the Grouch.
We're gonna have to develop a whole level meter and a threshold.
How pissed off can he get? And just keep feeding him stuff. And
if you would like to see that, send Todd an email, and you can find Todd's email address just to delay that process, so you can kind of think through your actions before you decide.
You guys can get me going easily. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, not baseball.
No, not baseball. I love baseball. I'm just tired of it. I need a break.
Yes, I know. We're going to add that back in. I got to find that video. All right. Well, anyway, so to wrap things up, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Catch all our awesome content over there. We still got to get that 500 subscriber end of the month, live stream out there. I can only imagine what we're going to talk about, but it'll be fun.
Well, we're going to talk field day, right? This will come out. This is going to come out after field day, right?
Yes, I think so.
Hope you guys had a great field day, and we'll be telling you our stories. Or my story.
You're the only one attending. So yes, you'll have to tell us all the great news or whatever happens. So with that, again, you can leave us a nice review. Tell us how your field day was. Share some of those stories. And you can do that via our SMS link, and it's all of our show notes. Or you can leave us a wonderful voicemail, because we haven't had a few in a while, and I was wondering whether or not that worked. So that is at 978-233-1142. And as it always says at the bottom, and I love that statement, is call us for a good time. And I guarantee you will have a good time, especially with, an episode like this. So you can support our show by joining our Patreon, and all of our Patreons get awesome perks as being a paid Patreon member. Or if you want to give us a one-time donation, you can buy us a beer over on our website. And again, head over to livefreeandham.com, learn about our show, check out our latest swag, pick up some hammies, or find out all of our contact host info and more about our show information. And thanks again from all of us here. 7-3.
7-3.
7-3.